Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy holidays. At this time, I would like to call the December 19th, 2024 regular meeting of the North County Transit District Board of Directors to order. Before we begin, members of the public who may be viewing the meeting on the district's YouTube page, please note that in order to make a public comment during the meeting, you must connect to the meeting using the Zoom link provided on the agenda. In addition, you must also register by sending an email containing your name or phone number and the agenda item on which you wish to speak to clerk@nctd.org. I'd also like to take a moment before we begin to welcome new directors to our board. We have, not the current one, but we have two new members here, Eric Joyce from Oceanside, and yes, Jim O'Hara, but he doesn't seem to be here yet. So when he gets here, hopefully he will arrive. And Maria, thank you for being here and filling in as alternate for our departed Sharon Jenkins. Much appreciated. Before I ask Taylor Seaweed, our deputy clerk, to call roll, please mark your attendance by pressing the attend button on the voting device in front of you. Attend. It's yellow. And a verbal roll call will still follow this, by the way. Board member Joyce, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Where are we at? Is it over there behind the column?
Where'd he go?
Here it is.
Mix it up in the old new guy. All right, ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Taylor, could you please provide us safety brief and review evacuation procedures? Yes, and roll call. I forget, we have to do it on this and out loud. Yes, it's special.
Board Chair Edson.
Present.
Vice Chair Bhat Patel.
Here.
Board Member Martinez.
Here.
Board Member O'Hara. Board Member Garcia.
Here.
Board Member Joyce. Present. Board Member Desmond.
Here.
Board Alternate Nunes.
Present.
Board Member Contreras.
Present.
Board Alternate Coleman.
Here.
This completes the roll.
Thank you. Now, if you would like to do evacuation procedures and the safety brief, thank you.
In case of an emergency, I will dial 911. In case of an evacuation, please take the stairs. Do not use the elevators. Once cleared of the building, do not re-enter unless cleared to do so by emergency personnel. There are fire extinguishers and first aid kits on each floor of the building. There is a portable defibrillator on the first floor and staff on hand trained on CPR procedures if needed. This concludes my safety brief.
Thank you, Taylor. Have there been any changes to today's agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Taylor, do we have any non-agenda public comments today?
Yes, Madam Chair, there's one public speaker here today to speak on general public comment.
Please call the speaker.
Josh? And please turn on your microphone.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Mosier, San Marcos Mobile Home Resident Association. I want to first give a shout out to Supervisor Desmond for the great letter that he wrote about the sexually violent predators to the judge. Very well written. I don't even understand how we're even at that point. I remember back in the 70s and 80s when they were doing things and getting people out of the different communities they had for people with mental illnesses. But to turn people loose is just plain crazy. The other thing I came for is I'm looking for updated flyers for myself to take to the mobile home parks and also in our city. I've gone the last few months And each time I've gone, I've pulled a couple, and I got some today that don't have our updated pricing from September when they lowered the prices. And also on that, one of the last times I came here, I gave you information on a senior mobile home park overlay district we were trying to work on. The good news is our city enacted a moratorium on December 2nd that was a temporary 45-day stop, so none of our parks could be switched over to all-age parks from senior parks. On January 14th, the city council meeting is going to come up on the agenda, and I'm going around to the mobile home parks affected, trying to pack our city council chambers. One of the reasons I'm bringing that up is because I'm looking back at the NCTD Plus buses that I keep talking about, and I'm looking at how I can move them. I've talked to a few of your people. I brought down some maps to focus, bring people to the clubhouse for a central pickup point. I'm also looking to see if I can create a corporate account or a nonprofit so that I can actually pay for these people to go, trying to figure out if there's a way to do that, or if I just have them pay and then reimburse them later. So ultimately, I'm trying to find out how to move them and bring them back and forth to our city council meetings more often so they can learn all the stuff I'm learning. So that's why I'm here today. And thank you guys for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming and speaking before us. Before we proceed, I have a couple of quick protocol items. I ask that board members please hold your comments and questions until after each agenda item has been presented. Next, when it comes time for board member questions and comments, please raise your hand or catch my eye and wait until you're called upon to speak. Also, please remember to turn on and speak into your microphone. This will ensure that your comments are heard by those listening in the room and online. Finally, instructions on how to vote using the device located on the dais in front of you are on the cards adjacent to them. There are two presentation items on our agenda. They are informational and do not require a vote. The first is employee service recognition, something that's near and dear to my heart. Our employees are the backbone of NCTD, and Joy Freeman, NCTD's Chief People Officer, is here to present this item today. Welcome, Joyce.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board chair and board members. NCTD is honored to celebrate tenured employees that work for NCTD, as well as those that work for MV that contribute to and add value to the organization within our Breeze operations. Today, we have, I believe, 5 individuals that we would be representing today. We have Benjamin Rabia, who has served and provided added service and value for 31 years. We have David Alcozer, who as one of our Breeze bus operators, who has again served for 31 years. David Anderson for 30 years. Donna Jordan for 30 years. And Mark Mangan for 30 years. Absolute appreciative of all the service that they have offered and the representation that they have provided NCTD through operating and driving our buses and being in the community and added values in the community as well. Are there any questions?
Well, before we ask for any questions of the board, are there any speakers on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely presentation, Joy. I'm sorry that we don't have anyone here to present these awards to. Sometimes it happens that it works with their shift times and whatnot, but it's amazing to have this type of tenure and this dedication to the district. So thank you very much for the presentations. I know we're going to have plaques and some other goodies for these employees, and thank you for putting all of that together.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
One comment.
It appears our CEO has a comment.
Yeah, I would just say definitely thanks to the employees. I would say a lot of the employees that we've encountered when they get to that 30-year, when we offer them the opportunity to come and be recognized, they typically just want to go to work, which is where most of them are today. So I just want to take an opportunity to always thank our employees, but especially the ones that stick around. And I've been able to talk to all of those employees at one point in time or another, and their service to the agency has just been phenomenal. So we always appreciate the work they do.
Director Joyce, did I see a need for a comment over there? Or?
I was just going to say that if there is an opportunity to go out and meet them in the field and give them the recognition that I know that you're going to do. Let us know, and, I love to be out there anyway, so thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Our second presentation is an overview of NCTD's outreach and marketing efforts for this calendar year. The district has really stepped up this year to introduce and expand transit services to both North County and our region as a whole. Chief of Staff Mary Dover is here to present this item. Welcome, Mary. The floor is yours.
Thank you, board members.
Let the record show that Board Member O'Hara arrived at 2:09.
Welcome, Board Member O'Hara. We welcomed you before you got here, but I thought we'd do it again.
My apologies, my phone did not want to take me here. It kept taking me to the mission. Oh, gosh. I apologize.
It happens, and freeway traffic was not pretty today, I have to say. All right, with that, thank you, Mary.
Yes. Good afternoon, board members. It's my pleasure to give an overview of NCTD's outreach and marketing efforts for this past calendar year. Since Sean came to NCTD in March, we've placed a real focus on being out in the community. We do traditional marketing, obviously, to make sure that folks know about our new and existing services, but we also wanted to be there in the community so that we're becoming a trusted face for our riders and for potential future riders. So the NCTD's Marketing and Communications Department markets our services in a variety of ways. We're out in the community, as I mentioned. We host special events. We recently held a hydrogen station groundbreaking event for our fueling station at our West Operations Division in Oceanside. We invited folks in the media out so that they could get a feel for the direction that we're going. We also have a very large social media presence on all social media platforms. We do traditional advertising, radio spots. We had a billboard. And we also do media relations to make sure that the media is our partner in getting the word out about NCTD services and projects that we're doing. We do all of this with the goal of increasing ridership, making sure that folks are aware of our bus services, our Sprinter services, all the services that we have to offer. And then also, as I mentioned, our brand awareness. We want folks to associate NCTD with the modes that we have and the services that we provide. As you all know, NCTD launched 2 new services this calendar year. The first being NCTD Plus, microtransit pilot program in the city of San Marcos, which has had great success. In order to market this service before and continuing now to this day, we did some traditional advertising. I mentioned the billboard. We had that along the 78 to get folks that were stuck in 78 traffic think about an alternate way to travel. We also posted on our own social media channels, as well as did paid advertising on social media to target some folks in the geographic area of the San Marcos region. We also did targeted outreach. Nick, the project manager for NCTD Plus, the marketing communications team, and a lot of our service planning team were out in the community at we went to some senior centers. We did outreach to the mobile home parks there, Palomar and Cal State San Marcos, as I have stated on the slide. We went to the San Marcos City Council, where we gave a presentation to get the word out. San Marcos Farmers Market, Harvest Fest. We really wanted to be in the community, and we did this to target folks that maybe don't have social media. We had, at every event, we made sure that we had a Spanish speaker present to target that population as well. At the at the launch of the NCTD Plus service at the San Marcos Farmers Market, we also had a press event where we invited the press. We could talk to them. We had various news outlets there. Telemundo, we gave a Spanish-speaking interview so that we could make sure that a wide swath of the population was made aware of this new service. The other service that we launched was the Sereno Valley Coaster Connection. Part of that, we did traditional advertising, we did social media posts, we also did targeted outreach. In this photo, standing next to our chair is Melanie Cohn with Biocom. We wanted to target the biotechnology industry that's in that area and make sure that their employees knew that they could take the coaster, they could take this shuttle, and it would drop them off at their front door. We visited various town councils, the Sereno Valley Town Council and the Mira Mesa Town Council, so that they could spread the word to their populations as well. And similarly, we held a press event for the launch of this service. Padres, which is one of our most exciting campaigns that we do every year. At the beginning of the season, we host a press event with the Padres. Our chair, CEO, we had the Friar there. It was a really good event to get the word out that remind folks you can take the coaster to Padres games. You don't have to worry about the parking hassle. We also wrapped a coaster train with some of the major players of the Padres so that as folks are seeing the coaster go by, they know that they can take it to Padres games. The Fair Tripper, we partner with the San Diego County Fair. We do a joint ticket. You get a coaster ticket and you get entrance into the fair for $15. So essentially it's a free coaster trip. Since we launched that pass in 2022, we've seen a 183% increase. So this is a really popular pass. Folks take it to the Solana Beach Station and then they hop on a shuttle. In the future, they'll be able to take it to the new special events platform that'll be right at the Del Mar Fair. We also partner with the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club for the Del Mar races, both seasons, summer season and the Bing Crosby season. We also sell a joint pass for that, the Pony Express. Similar to the Fair Tripper, you get a coaster ticket and entrance into the races. We work with Comic-Con every year to target, we push our 5-pack so that over the course of Comic-Con, if you're staying somewhere along the coaster line and you're going every day, you can get a discounted ticket on your coaster tickets if you buy it as a pack. And the Holiday Express, everyone's favorite event. We hosted the Holiday Express these past 2 weekends. We sold 9,700 tickets. We welcomed folks to the Oceanside Transit Center. They got a positive experience of the coaster. We held a book contest to really engage our social media followers, and it was a really successful event. We want to give them a positive experience of the coaster so that they can think about us for their traveling needs in the future. The Youth Opportunity Pass is one of our new-ish fair products. It provides youth 18 and under with a free transit pass. Our customer service team has done an amazing job of getting the word out. They went to 24 schools this year and they issued over 1,000 youth opportunity passes. In that conversation, they're able to talk to the youth about how to ride transit, how to take it to and from school, and how to take it to their leisure activities, their summer activities. And we're really meeting the people where they are. We're at the schools, we're talking to them so that they don't have to come to us to get these passes. And as I mentioned at the jump, we are really focused on getting engaged with the community. We're at farmers markets. This picture in the bottom left corner is the Vista Resource Fair. We are happy to participate in that. We started last year, this year, and then we're going to continue to do so. We were in a couple parades this year, the Veterans Day Parade in Escondido, which was amazing, and then the 4th of July Parade in Oceanside. So we look forward to, if you have parades in your cities, please let us know. We'd love to come. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you for the presentation, Mary. It's exciting to see the many ways that NCTD has responded to the needs and desires of our riders, our core riders, and also introduced our new services to new riders. Before we move to any board comments or questions, Taylor, are there any public comments on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. At this time, public registration to speak on this item has ended. Are there any questions or comments for Vice Chair Patel?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. I just have some comments, real quick ones. I know, I think it was back in 2019, 2020, for Carlsbad, we had the Carlsbad connector, and I know that ended up ending due to what was happening during the pandemic. Seeing the success of NCTD Plus in San Marcos, I just want to put a plug in for our folks in Carlsbad, especially in our employment centers. I know it was doing really well. I think it was just due to funding and where we were at the time with the pandemic. And then the other piece, I just wanted to say, please come out to our farmers market as well. We get a lot of people at the Carlsbad Farmers Market. I think they would benefit from obviously interacting and just hearing of all the offerings that we have to offer here at NCTD. And then lastly, I have to say the Holiday Express was so much fun, especially as a mom, to be able to watch my kid enjoy it with his friends and his grandparents. So I just wanted to say thank you for a job well done. It was an amazing success, and I have to just thank all of our employees who were out there supporting everyone. So thank you.
We'll be at the Carlsbad Village Fair in May, so hopefully we'll see you there.
Awesome, great.
Any other board members? Director Garcia.
Thank you. So I received a text from the city clerk in Escondido. He's a resident of Oceanside, and he said, Joe, you need to let NCTD staff know how incredible the Holiday Express experience is. He took his family and he said, you do a shout out, please. And I said, I promise I'll do that. So Zach, I'm doing it. All right, so thank you so much for putting that together. You're impacting all over the community regarding that. And we have two fairs in Escondido, the third Sunday of May and the third Sunday of October. Very well attended, and being that Escondido is one of the areas with the highest ridership, it would be wonderful to have you out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Director Nunez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation, and I do have a couple of comments and a question about the NCTD Plus service. What a valuable service, and it really has been a great addition to our San Marcos community. I happen to represent our majority Latino district, and I think this is true for across the North County. The families, the individuals that I represent tend to be the ones that rely the most on public transportation. And so it really has been a great addition and very valuable. So, but one of the things that I continue to see is that there's a lot of individuals that are not aware about the service. So one of the things I would like to see is really just continuing to make sure that our families are aware of the valuable service that exists. Obviously, I agree with our residents that we need to increase the area of service. I'm really glad to see John Mosher here, our fellow San Marcos resident. And I agree, one of the issues that I hear about, especially for our seniors, is their inability really to pay even the low rates that exist. So I share in the sentiment that we should look for ways to cover those fees, especially for the individuals that it's still a hardship to cover. But great job, and so I look forward to really collaborating and seeing how we can continue to educate our residents and continuing to expand the service. So thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Contreras.
Yes, thank you for this presentation. I wanted to ask, looking at where our ridership is, it looks like we continue, which is a good thing, to have more growth month over month. How does this marketing aspect fit into that? Do we think that this is helping to drive those numbers up, the ridership numbers, or is there a relationship between these two things?
I would love to say yes. All the marketing drives ridership. Yeah. So the way we analyze that with the Fair Tripper passes and the Pony Express passes, those are tangible numbers. We can look at people. Our marketing is targeting these populations, and we're seeing the numbers grow. We have the Padres ridership. We compare Padres game days to average weekdays, and we saw a 7% increase on Padres days versus regular average weekdays. So yes, I believe there is a correlation, and we can see it mainly in the purchase of the passes that we're promoting.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great to be able to do, maybe even some more community fairs, right? I love the bus wrap. I've seen it going around North County, and seeing the flag on the bus is just super awesome. I love that. But yeah, I think, all of us are really hungry in our own cities to really get this word out and ensure that people know of these different services, right? And even, how to verify. I think it's great that you're going to the schools for the Youth Opportunity Pass. But fantastic work. And I just can't wait to continue having the success of ridership growing, and whatever we can do, to help promote that in every part of our service area, I think is fantastic. So great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Garcia, you have
Yes,
another.
thank you. I have
little
one more
tidbit for
thing.
us.
You triggered something, Director Contreras, the Padres. I've gone to games for seasons and seasons and all kinds of stuff, but my concern always was, can I take public transportation if the game ends late and come back home, or have to walk, right, for hours and hours? So, it is a long walk. So, get the word out. I remember that we have one that goes after the last, because there was one stat I won't say who we were playing, but we ended up about 2 o'clock in the morning of the game. And I don't know if there was actually anybody willing to ride it, right? But I was like, okay, I'm glad I have a car because otherwise I had to have left. So anyway, I just wanted to mention about the Padres and the importance to get the word out because that is, and just ditto that. Because a lot of us want to go to the games and rather ride than drive.
Yeah, we do, as you mentioned, 1 hour after the last out, we provide a special coaster service. So we'll definitely work on making sure that folks know that they can take that home.
Director Joyce.
Just speaking of games, the Front Wave Arena is open here in Oceanside. If you haven't gone to a game there, whether it be the San Diego Sockers, who just had their opening match, or the San Diego Clippers, who are a couple games into their season, that's a tremendous opportunity that is a stone's throw from a Sprinter station. And so I look forward to working with staff and the board here to make sure that folks up and down, especially the Sprinter corridor, but also the coaster, have access to that. Because speaking of, if you walk from there to the arena, that's a steep hill. It's good to get your steps in, but not everybody can do it. So yeah, I'm just excited about that. The year from now, hearing about the things that are going on with the Front Wave.
Director Martina.
Thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. I love this stuff. It gets me very excited, so I think it's wonderful. So I'm a huge Dodger fan. Just kidding. And I know, but I was born and raised there, and my blood is blue, but I helped deliver Fernando's second baby, so and I was a season ticket holder. So I do go, but I love baseball. So, too, Joe, they changed the rules so games aren't as long. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, we'll talk later. Huge changes. But I was wondering. Yeah, I was wondering if Petco would advertise for free about the service, because I think that would be a great asset. Parking is horrible there and traffic is horrible. So that might be maybe some free advertisement.
We do, we're very lucky to share a great partnership with the Padres. So they actually, donated the coaster wrap to us as part of, joint advertising, making sure that folks knew that they could take the coaster to the Padres.
I was thinking maybe advertising on some of their boards in the park.
Yeah, we can certainly
They
approach them
put
about
things
that.
on the big screen.
I think I've seen it actually on some of the games. So
I will double check, yeah. Not to
anyway.
my knowledge, but I will double check.
parking's better in San Diego than in LA. Thank you.
But it's not, but that's okay.
Okay, you guys, let's just stay in the meeting here. So on behalf of Solana Beach, I'd like to encourage you to come and show up for Fiesta del Sol in May and Dia de los Muertos in October. Also, being on community relations with the city of Del Mar and the fairgrounds and lots of other people. The express bus that ran from Escondido to the fairgrounds is something that's been gravely missed because it does take forever otherwise to get from point A to point B. And I know that this has been something that's been brought up for a couple of years in that committee, and we're hoping to get that back for this next fair season. And speaking of that Front Wave Arena, so I also sit on the LoSAN board for NCTD, and I have encouraged them to look at advertising the fact that people can get to Front Wave from the north as well by, switching at Oceanside Transit Center to the Sprinter. And then it's a super easy ride, way better than doing the traffic out of LA or Points North. So with that, I think we've all had our yes, okay. Well, as I said, there's no need to vote on this item. So next on our agenda is approval of minutes for the November 21st regular board meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
Contreras moves approval.
Second.
Motion by Contreras, second by Bhat Patel. Please vote. I think a few of you did not attend, so I'm assuming you will be recusing or abstaining. Or I'm told you can vote if you've read it. Yes.
I'm trying to abstain, but I don't see.
Usually comes up down here. Oh, there it is over there.
There's a dot.
You see it?
I don't,
Press attend.
You're not up there yet.
I'm trying to abstain, but there's,
Maria, did you press attend already?
I did.
Yeah, so did I.
You might need, yeah, let's just, if we could just call the vote, please.
Yes.
On the motion of Board Member Contreras, seconded by Vice Chair Bhat Patel, to approve the minutes for the regular board meeting on November 21st, 2024, motion passes. Board Member Joyce and Board Alternate Nunes abstains.
Thank you. We have 9 items on consent for action today. Taylor, have any members of the public requested that any consent items be pulled?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At this time, public registration to speak on consent is ended. Do any board members wish to pull any items from consent? Board
Not to
member-
pull, but comment on.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. On item number 7, this is our nominations for leadership positions here for 2025. I was proud to be part of the leadership, or I guess the appointment committee there, along with Kelly Hensey and Tracy Martinez. One thing that I brought up there was just an observation that I've been on this board for 6 years, and both of our leadership positions in all of those 6 years, and I know we don't get into partisan issues, but both have been Democrats for the last 6 years in the leadership positions here at the board. And with our next, with our recommendations, that's going to make it about, if things go the same where you have a 2-year term, there's going to be 8 years without having Republican people in the leadership position. So I want to say I'm very happy to see Joe Garcia in that position and hopefully moving up in that direction, so that even though I realize we're in the minority at this particular meetings, but I do think it'd be nice to have some bipartisan seats in the leadership positions. So with that, I'll be happy to, you need a motion for the, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Second by Contreras.
I have a comment.
Oh, okay. Okay. Which item?
Yeah, so I didn't want to pull it, but just on, where'd it go? The item 4. It's just a comment on NCTD Plus performance. There's a budgeted goal of 2046, and I just wanted to know what the rationale for that budgeted goal is.
2046.
Are you talking,
Things would be great then.
I'm sorry, are you talking about the ridership goal?
Correct.
Yeah, Nick, do you want to speak on that? In case I get it wrong.
Good afternoon, Nick Solfel, Director of Strategic Planning and Project Manager for NCTD Plus. That budgetary number for the estimation was based upon a software that we used to do ridership estimation. And so it was a high level, kind of like estimate that we could use to go through the budget. We're seeing the real numbers come in. We're actually seeing the real numbers come in pretty close, actually to that number, which is really impressive. And we're extremely happy with the ridership on NCTD Plus.
Okay, yeah.
But it came out of a model that we use to predict ridership for demand response services such as to microtransit.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, where did this come from? But that makes sense.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep, sure.
I appreciate it. And with that, I'll go ahead and second the motion that's on the floor.
Okay, and I would like to just respond really quickly to Director and Supervisor Desmond's comments. We have kept politics off this board, and the positions that were appointed were based on longevity. I've been here this is my 8th year. I think this is your 6th. It's Karina's 6th. It wasn't based on politics at all, whatever color flag you fly over your house. We're here to do the business of the district, and we are a bipartisan group. And I think that it's really good to work together and to continue to do so. And I'm happy that Board Member Garcia has stepped up to take a role that will, depending on what his committee votes, because this is a recommendation, but in leadership. So it's great.
Well, that's my observation.
Okay, well, thank you. We have a motion. Oh, Board Member Bob Patel.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to say, I hope, I think definitely based on the committee, and I just want to thank you all for considering myself and hope Board Member Contreras for these positions. I hope you all learn that we are, and if you haven't already, that we love to listen to folks. We work with people, especially, I want to put myself out there that I am always willing to listen and work with everyone. And I think I just want to echo the sentiments. This is a nonpartisan board. Obviously, we all register as something out there, and that's just who we are. We might not, but I just want to say that we are doing the people's work. So if anything, please do feel free to come up and chat with me. If I am given the honor of being your chair, I will always be open to listening and making sure that we're working together, because we're working together to work for North County. So anything I can do, please at any point, reach out. So
We haven't voted yet, have we?
No.
we haven't, but we're making comments just like you did. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion by Desmond, a second by Contreras. Please vote. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and vote and, okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I just comment for the next time. It's kind of a little strange to come in as a new board member and then have all the recommendations already be made too, just because the conversation already happened before some of us joined. So maybe 2 years from now, we can figure out a way to do it with the new board so that they're part of the conversation and decision-making moving forward. So that's just my request for the long term. Good point.
All right, with that, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay.
On the motion of Board Member Desmond, seconded by Board Member Contreras to approve consent items 3 through 11, motion passes.
Thank you. Moving now to other business item 12, consideration of an exclusive negotiating agreement for the redevelopment of the Vista Civic Center Sprinter Station. Tracy Foster, NCTD's Chief Development Officer, and Lillian Doherty, Director of Planning and Development, are here to present this item. Welcome, Tracy and Lillian. You have the floor.
Sorry, Chair, if I could just be recognized for a second.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I'm not able to double dip, meaning I can't vote on my Vista capacity as a council member and NCTD, so I'm going to recuse myself, and I'll be in that room. Y'all have fun.
Enjoy the crying room. And thank you for reminding me that you needed to recuse.
All right, we're good to go. Good afternoon, board members. By way of background, in 2016, the NCTD Board of Directors adopted Board Policy 33, which is entitled Joint Use and Development of Real Property. This board policy provides a framework to NCTD so that we can execute the vision of transit-oriented developments that are adjacent to transit services, and also establishes various goals. First and foremost, we are a transit agency, so the prioritization of transit connectivity and enhancing rider experience is paramount. Also, in the same lines of prioritizing transit, we need to develop projects that upgrade current infrastructure to create a stronger multimodal system, while also generating a long-term revenue stream in the form of ground leases that will support transit operations in the future. A redevelopment should also enhance the community's economic vitality, aiming to boost local businesses,
increasing surrounding property values, and creating access for a diverse workforce. And lastly, meeting community needs is essential to the success of a transit-oriented development. This is accomplished by developing projects that are compatible with the surrounding communities and reflect the needs and the desires of the neighborhoods. So achieving the goals as outlined within the board policy will result or can result in a variety of benefits. Thinking about transit first as a priority, TODs will facilitate growth in transit riderships. This is done by convenient placement of homes, workplaces, and various amenities that are adjacent to our transit facilities. Again, putting transit at the forefront, TODs create better connectivity through well-connected pedestrian and bike pathways, as an example. In addition to supporting sustainable mobilities, TODs can also provide energy-efficient systems and technology and refresh landscaping with drought-tolerant vegetation, and which then in turn minimizes water usage. Lastly, our TODs support economic growth by activating underutilized land with new housing, retail, and commercial development, which in turn creates job opportunities, attracts investment, and also increases tax revenues. So since 2020, we have been advancing our redevelopment efforts, and of the 11 sites identified for potential TOD projects, we are currently progressing 6. Each redevelopment site or project is unique. And in line with our board policy, we take a balanced approach in looking at the entire portfolio and what it can yield. The figures that are represented on the left of this slide are based upon the developer's proposals. So they may change over time as we navigate through the redevelopment process, through the due diligence, and as the project develops. We do intend to continue to keep the board informed with this portfolio information and as each development progresses through the process. And now over to Lillian to talk about the Vista Civic Center.
Thank you, Tracy. Can you hear me? Okay. The Vista Civic Center Sprinter Station is located approximately 1.3 miles from downtown Vista, and just down the street from the City of Vista's political heart and civic center. Connectivity to Breeze bus stops are located off-site through main arterials off of Civic Center Drive and South Santa Fe Avenue. The site is well poised to connect to established multimodal connectivity, given that a new segment of the Inland Rail Trail will begin construction in 2025 and is in permitting now. The site is just over 2 acres and ripe for redevelopment. The process for identifying a developer partner is a 5-phase process, for which we have completed the initial 3 phases. The 4th phase, which requires board approval of the developer recommendation, is the current phase. If approved, we will enter into the negotiation of an exclusive negotiation agreement, which will enable the developer to enter the due diligence phase and site evaluation. Through a competitive process, CBRE, NCTD's on-call real estate consultant at that time, solicited proposals across the market and received 2 proposals. Both developers provided strong financial backgrounds and extensive development experience. Between the 2 developers, the source selection committee, comprised of 5 members, 3 NCTD staff members, and 2 external candidates, determined that Tideline Partners LLC, a local developer and investment firm with experience in developing similar projects in terms of size and scale in the City of Vista, provided a portfolio and proposal with a stronger offer. Not only that, Tideline Partners indicated they had gone the extra mile. They coordinated with the City of Vista Planning Department to ensure consistency of their proposal with the Downtown Vista specific plan and the City of Vista's general plan, and received concurrence of their initial concept. The Source Selection Committee determined that Tideline Partners LLC offered the best value and best aligned with NCTD's goals and objectives for transit-oriented development projects. Tideline Partners' mixed-use proposal of 131 units is comprised of 16% low income, 28% middle income, and 56% market rate units, with 2,000 square feet available for ground floor retail. They have thoughtfully integrated an ideal space to activate the ground floor for a cafe or bakery, immediately adjacent to a cyclist hub, where one can fix or lock up their bicycle before hopping on the inland rail trail or jumping on the Sprinter. In 2021, CBRE estimated that the fee simple value of this property would be about $3 million. Through this long-term lease, NCTD would receive $2.4 million in transit improvements and a base ground lease revenue of $85,000, which would grow every year for 99 years. By 2035, the ground lease could exceed $120,000. And if we participated in a managed parking option, could approach $140,000 by 2035. In addition, this proposal takes into consideration goals that we as an organization have for ourselves and our facilities. Sustainability goals that are enshrined in our sustainability and climate action plan. Tideline is proposing innovative construction features such as cool paving, energy-saving measures such as solar carports, smart water features such as stormwater harvesting, and drought-tolerant and native landscaping. The Source Selection Committee also felt it was compelling that in the City of Vista, Tideline is a successful local developer that already has several developments within the City of Vista, that it has both constructed and recently entitled. NCTD has learned that understanding the community that you are working with, as well as the environment that you are entitling in, is a key contributor to the success of any project. If the board approves staff's recommendation this afternoon, staff will move forward to negotiations of an exclusive negotiation agreement. The developer, Tideline Partners LLC, will complete due diligence of the site, after which staff will enter into the negotiation phase to negotiate the terms of the development agreement, the term sheet, and the draft lease for a period of 99 years. We will return to this board to seek approval of these agreements at that time. Staff recommends that the board authorize the Chief Executive Officer to enter into an exclusive negotiation agreement with Tideline Partners LLC for the redevelopment of the Vista Civic Center Sprinter Station. Thank you for your interest and attention. This concludes our presentation. Tracy and I are available to the board for any questions which you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for that very informative presentation. Taylor, do we have any public comments on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
At this time, public registration to speak on this item has ended. Board members. Board Member Coleman.
Hello, really quickly, thank you for the presentation. Just had two questions on the residential units component. So I know that you mentioned 37 were middle income, 21 were low income, but could you give the AMI and if they're deed restricted or not?
Yes, they are deed restricted and they are AMI based on the RENA standards. So
I think I know them. And deed restricted for 55 years or?
Yes,
Okay,
that is correct.
thank you.
Board Member Desmond.
I would just, I guess, I'm okay with moving forward on this, but one of the things that when you have government housing, you got to make sure that we have this thing managed by a property manager that is responsible and doesn't walk away from responsibility, and make sure that the grounds and everything else are maintained and people still qualify for whatever there is there. But we've run into issues that where it wasn't spelled out correctly what the responsibilities were of the management company that is going to be on site, because it looks bad on us if they don't perform. So I want to make sure that the i's are dotted and t's are crossed on whatever the parameters might be.
Yeah, I really appreciate that comment. One of the things that I think, I don't want to say we've struggled with, but when we have conversations about TOD in general, who we turn it over to is just as important as the project itself because it's a reflection of the transit district. And so any sort of peripheral space around rail stations or bus stations that we might want to develop on, we're going to have pretty stringent requirements for whoever we partner with to make sure that those things are managed effectively because they inevitably have an effect on our brand and the way that we want to do business. So that's been a chief priority for us.
So we got to be able to keep our thumb on the management company and the housing units.
Yeah, agreed.
If I could also just add, one of the agreements that we would bring back is our ground lease, but what goes along with it as well is not just the maintenance requirements under the ground lease. We have a lot of shared space with the development, so we anticipate a maintenance agreement as well that thoroughly defines who is doing what and the standards for that.
But there's management of the people in the housing as well. That's
Right.
where visitors coming and going, and unfortunately, they bring all that up, but it happens and it kind of ruins a neighborhood sometimes.
Director Joyce.
I was just gonna say that I love that so it's like 58 rent restricted units across the middle and low income. So is middle standing in for moderate income on the AMI? Okay, that's what I figured, but I was just checking. What's the bedroom count mix of the units? Sorry. While you're looking that up, I'll just say it's given that the mix is so high, it's almost like a 50-50 development. That's gonna push that ownership group, whoever we're turning it over to keep it really nice because they're gonna be trying to charge market rate to 73 of those households as well. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of doing a 50-50 style development. So I commend you on coming to an agreement like that.
Does Tideline have any history with property management?
Developments in the city of Vista, as well as properties in Santa Monica and LA.
With this kind of housing mix?
The different housing mixes, they generally shoot for much higher than like 30 or 40%, like a mix of moderate and low income.
And if I may, in the staff report on,
Windsor Point.
it mentions number 3, land use and supporting regional housing goals, that the unit types would be a mix of studio and one-bedroom units based upon a survey of market need. Board Member Martinez has a question.
Thank you for that presentation. I think it's a great product. I just wondered, will this go through community outreach for the surrounding neighbors as well as approval by the city council, I would suppose? And then do the plans come back to us or does it just go straight to the city?
The city has the entitlement responsibilities for this. We would bring back the associated agreements for the land use.
Great, thank you.
I have a clarifying question. It's not clear to me, is Tidewell Partners doing its own management? Is that what I heard, or?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that was not clear.
Board Member Joyce, the answer is 93 studio and 38 one-bedroom. And my understanding is that at the time of the proposal, when asked about that, my understanding is the city of Vista is actually in need. That is what they need right now in terms of like vacancy rates. They are at capacity for single-bedroom and units. They have a high number of I guess, young people, young professionals that are in need of housing, and that's why they're proposing it this way. If at the time that they move closer to entitlement, 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom are needed, they might change the mix.
So I just assume that the mix of one-bedrooms reflects the mix of moderate and low income?
Yes.
Okay. Thank.
Any other questions, board members? Okay. With no other questions, may I have a motion to approve other business item number 12?
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Nunez.
Second.
Second by Martinez. Please vote.
Yeah, do we have a caution button?
On the motion of Board Alternate Nunes, seconded by Board Member Martinez, to authorize the Chief Executive Officer to enter into an exclusive negotiation agreement for the redevelopment of the Vista Civic Center Sprinter Station, motion passes.
Thank you. I have a misbehaving computer here. Next on our agenda is closed session regarding the performance evaluation of NCTD's CEO, Sean Donaghy. Ms. Winfrey, please take us into closed session.
Yes, thank you. So we do have the one closed session item today pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, the performance evaluation for the Chief Executive Officer.
Ms. Winfrey, are there any reportable actions from closed session?
Yes, the board met in closed session to consider the performance evaluation for the chief executive officer and the recommendation of the executive committee, and has determined to advance a recommendation to the full board for consideration here today as agenda item number 14, which will be reviewed by our chief people officer, Joy Freeman.
As Ms. Winfrey just said, the final item on today's agenda is related to the CEO annual performance evaluation and any actions that were decided upon during closed session. Joy Freeman, our Chief People Officer, will present this item. Welcome back, Joy. Once again, you have our attention.
Thank you. Welcome again, Board. On December 3rd, the Executive Committee met and considered our CEO, Sean Donaghy's self-evaluation, as well as any input that had been offered by the full Board related to Sean's performance. The Executive Committee unanimously determined that Sean's performance over the evaluation period exceeded expectations. With the committee's determination that Sean has exceeded expectation, he is automatically eligible for a 2.5 annual non-discretionary increase in accordance with his employment agreement effective January 1st, 2025. Sean's employment agreement also allows the Executive Committee to recommend and the full Board to consider and approve salary increases and discretionary performance incentives. After reviewing Sean's overall performance and in recognition of his significant efforts towards advancing the district's goals and initiatives during the past 10 months, the Executive Committee unanimously recommended that the Board award Sean a discretionary $20,000 performance incentive. The full Board in closed session today has agreed to advance the Executive Committee's recommendations to for consideration today at the meeting as agendized to provide the CEO with a $20,000 discretionary performance incentive. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Taylor, do we have any public comments on this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board members, any comments? Okay. At this point, I would like to make a motion to approve other business number 14. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Edson, second by Bhat Patel. Please vote.
On the motion of Board Chair Edson, seconded by Vice Chair Bhat Patel, to approve annual performance evaluation and related actions for Chief Executive Officer, motion passes.
Thank you, Taylor. Moving now to the CEO's report. Mr. Donaghy, is there any news you'd like to share?
Yeah, just a few things. First of all, I want to say thanks to the board. We've had a really good year this year. I think we've really got a really great leadership team that's kind of helped round out where we are right now, and proud of the work that the group has done. And we've got a lot of pretty key initiatives, I think, in front of us as we move forward, and I really appreciate the staff that's here to help us kind of move through that. So very thankful for all of our employees and our executive staff as well. I did want to take an opportunity. You may have noticed on the consent agenda that we made a small change to our Chief General Counsel's employment agreement. I just want to kind of take a moment to, one, congratulate Lori Winfrey on that. I think her work over the past 11-plus years has just been phenomenal. My transition to the agency really probably couldn't have been done without her help and the work that she's done. And the reality is she really helped guide Paul, who I had the privilege of working with quite a few years ago. And I know what Paul thinks about her performance and the work that she's done. So excited to have her as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer and Chief General Counsel. So would totally be open to a round of applause for Lori if we could.
And the comment, it's about time.
I did just want to take a minute to sort of build on the Holiday Express. What a great couple weekends we had. We added an additional run-in this year for the night run. I think we're probably going to do a few more of those next year, but 9,700 plus this year, sold out in about an hour, a little less than an hour, 45 minutes. That's a great accomplishment, but I got to tell you, I was there both weekends. The work that our team does to prepare for that is just absolutely phenomenal. And I love to hear the feedback from the families when they're boarding the train and when they're coming off. And it's just such a great energy down there. And, just really thankful for the employees that sort of jump in on that. New Year's Eve, free rides on MTS and NCTD after 6 p.m. We're going to have a press conference on that, I believe, week after next, or next week or this week, one of these days. And we're gonna talk about that, but we'll have it blasted out on social media, and we'll get all that information out for everybody to do. Part of, which is not totally official yet, we had a really great conversation with UCSD about their pass, and the one thing that we really focused on in this go-around was we did increase the amount that we get per student on the campus. But I want to give Katie Person some credit, our Director of Planning. When we sat down and had a conversation with them, and Yoon Park Lynch was with us also, our CFO, and really what we sort of threw at them was the pass that we have with UCSD is very specific to certain modes of service that we have, primarily our Breeze service, Coaster Connection, and that was probably about it. We really wanted a full-stop shop, so the agreement that we have going to a vote of the students with them now is everything. It includes Coaster, it includes Sprinter, it includes Breeze, NCTD Plus, and includes Coaster Connection. So we're pretty excited to sort of give the students really what I think they should have, which is full access to all of our services. And looking forward to having that conversation with other educational partners that we have in the region. Youth Opportunity Pass has been very successful, but we want to get out to the universities and the community colleges and have the same type of conversation. I was going to hold off on sending my update to the board this month until after tomorrow because we have the LoSAN meeting, and we're kind of curious to see what's going to come out of that before we shoot an update out to the board. So Mary and I will be there with Scott Schroyer, who's our chief engineer, and we'll really sort of take in that information and see what's going on over there, and we'll report back to the board what the findings are of the group that's sort of helping Sandag out on that. Just again, we had a few meetings the past couple of weeks, one in Washington, D.C., to sort of get a layout of what might be coming down the pike for the new administration. And we also had a meeting about very similar things in Salt Lake City with a coalition of bus CEOs. I'm just trying to talk about what does it look like as we move forward? What do those things kind of mean for us? I think the unique space for NCTD is that we are the owner of a railroad, and we know that the administration is very concerned about things like commerce, national security. So we really, I think we have an opportunity through this administration to try to aggressively find ways to improve our rail corridors, and so we're happy to really sort of jump into that. And starting in January, we'll start to get some of our new hydrogen buses into the fleet. We've already got quite a few on the property. The station is coming along very well. We'll have a grand opening when that happens and invite everybody down to see what that's about. But we're going to start taking the last part of our order on the hydrogen buses starting in January, so they'll be floating around and on the property. And I want to take a minute to thank the Carpenters Union. One of the things that also was approved through this was an agreement for our mechanics over at our Coaster facility. And I really want to take a minute to thank Lori and Joy Freeman and Tom Tully, who's in the back. He's our chief for rail. They did an excellent job negotiating with that group. I always think they go well if we all come to the table and we just all put our cards on the table. And that's really what happened in this case. Was a lot of things have changed since the pandemic, I think, on how our mechanics, both on the bus and the rail side, sort of see contracts. They like a lot of things like legacy pay. I think we want to recognize our employees that have been here for a long time. I think that's one piece that's been missing from a lot of the contracts that those employees have had with our contractors, because they're for-profit companies. And not that we don't want to be mindful of the budget itself, but I think we've got a lot of employees that work at those facilities that have put in 15, 20 years, and they should be recognized for the work that they do. So I really appreciate the work done by Joy and Tom to really push that contract forward. And that is all I have for today, unless anybody has anything for me.
Any questions?
How long is a hydrogen bus, can it run for a week, a day? How long, I'm familiar with electric ones, but how long do you run on a hydrogen?
Yeah, essentially we get about the same mileage on a hydrogen bus that we do on a CNG or a diesel bus. The hydrogen propulsion system itself is actually to recharge the battery. So it's essentially a battery electric bus with a hydrogen propulsion that recharges the battery so it can stay on the road.
All day long?
Yeah, all day long. So our battery electrics, we've got, dare I say, we have pretty good weather here. In other places where weather's not as great as it is in San Diego County, sometimes in the summertime they can get up to 175 miles a run. In the wintertime when they're running heaters and some of the other equipment, it gets down to closer to 100. The hydrogen buses can run a full day just like a full tank CNG would. And so it's a good investment, and I think we've talked about it here before. Kind of the next phase of that is what that means for rail and how we can kind of jump into the Sprinter corridor with it. So a lot more of that's going to come out, but we're pretty excited to have the hydrogen station moving forward over at our west stops and looking forward to getting the new buses in here so we can retire some of the 15, 16, 17-year-old buses you see floating around.
Okay. Director Joyce.
I'm just going to add, I kind of missed the boat on the last item, but I did want to congratulate our CEO on a clear, overwhelming support for an outstanding work over the last 10 months. I haven't been on the board and I've noticed changes, just being around town and even in this room. So I want to congratulate you, appreciate it, keep it up, and I thank the board for really taking that work seriously as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Board members, do you have any brief reports to share? No, look, everybody's tired. Good, good. Taylor, are there any remaining public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
At this time, registration for public comments has ended. Thank you, everyone. Once again, I'd like to wish you all wonderful holidays, those who celebrate, and welcome our new board members. And send a salute to those who have left us. Our next scheduled meeting is January 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m. Normally, we meet the third Thursday. This will be the fourth Thursday. It's an anomalous one. So just to keep that in mind. Well, thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.
We can get the